Welcome to This Week in Crypto, where we'll be covering the big stories in the cryptocurrency world and giving you all the info you need, whether you're mining or trading cryptocurrencies. This week we'll be looking at the demise of Mt. Gox, Auroracoin, Bitcoin ATMs, and all the other stories in the cryptocurrency world. So, Mt. Gox demise is by far the biggest story this week, probably the biggest story this year. More than $400 million worth of Bitcoin's gone missing. Mt. Gox was hacked through a weakness in the code, right?
Well, there's far more to the story than that.
Do we know if it was hacked?
No, we still don't know.
No one knows anything.
No.
Right, okay. So what about, there's some code that's appeared on Pastebin, the link is at the bottom of the screen, to some PHP code. Does that tell us anything? Developers?
Well...
Yeah, it tells us not to write a...
It tells you don't write a Bitcoin exchange.
Alright.
That may have been brought about by hackers. Supposedly that's come about from people hacking it to try and figure out what's gone wrong. So that is different. They didn't steal any Bitcoins. They hacked into it and took personal data from the people at Mt. Gox, as well as this PHP code to prove that they actually got into the system.
And trying to find out
what happened,
where the loopholes were in
the code.
Trying to establish what the problems were.
I mean, what I can't get my head around is, if we do some basic maths, which we did earlier, they were, with the commission transaction fees that this guy was making every week was a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars. So why would you be motivated to steal loads of money in a big cover-up, completely end your business that was making you all this money every week?
If you did it yourself, if it was an inside job.
If it was an inside job, like, what was his motivation as an inside job if he was making loads of money off it?
Because, well, I don't necessarily think that's what's happened, but if that, like, just playing devil's advocate, if that is what might have happened, you might know that you're eventually going to get found out and cut your losses and run while you've got the chance to steal, like, what is...
So he may have slowly over time got himself deeper and deeper into essentially embezzling money from the company to the point where he had to orchestrate a big
meltdown.
I don't think he's been embezzling money over time.
Yeah.
But he's definitely been getting deeper and deeper in the fact that they've been less in control of their system. Like, their system was never meant to scale to the size that it is right now.
Am I right in thinking it was hacked a while ago?
This is like the third or fourth time that there's been what we call a goxing, where Mt. Gox just kills things for the Bitcoin community because their system is not capable of the level that it's been trying to run at. And as not even just their technical system, but like the competence of the people working there, like, and even their like transparency about what's going on is just not up to the standard or level of business that it needs to be to facilitate the amount of people that are trying to use the system.
I mean, was this guy Mark Carpels? So this guy Mark, he was basically a developer, had a good idea, created something, but it kind of looks like he might not have had the security and financial head to back up what, you know, the sort of level of tightness you need for the world's biggest Bitcoin exchange.
Yeah, kind of.
Partly that, but when he started, first of all, he bought this. It was Magic the Gathering online exchange. He bought this website that bought and sold.
Nothing to do with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
He bought and sold Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it was converted into
an exchange.
As you do.
And at the time, when you're talking about like fractions of pennies for some thing you created on your computer, people he probably didn't think it was a big deal that it was the most insecure piece of PHP in the world.
Right.
And it just exploded, and now here we are now, and we've got a picture of the guy that turned up in Japan demanding his money back. So.
They just stopped withdrawals. They hadn't said anything at that point.
Yeah.
A week later, and it's all kicked off. So I imagine there's
4 more people out there.
It's true. There's quite a few people. So there's some class actions against him. I mean, God knows how people get their money back. And I mean, so the thing about that is, what would you say to anybody considering starting a Bitcoin wallet or exchange service?
Good luck.
Don't. Unless you know what you're doing, you should not be.
Yeah.
You should not be doing it. You need to be a seasoned software engineer to try and mess with large amounts of money. Yeah. Would you make a banking site at home?
No.
No. Well, that's the same thing you're doing if you're making a Bitcoin exchange.
Would you keep $400 million in your garden shed for a mate? Probably not.
No.
You'd invest in a nuclear bunker.
Yeah, I mean, someone with financial services background, you know.
Yeah. So what's next? What are the next steps for Mt. Gox?
Well, part of this crisis report that has gone out says that the best thing for Mt. Gox may even be for it to try and continue business.
Yeah.
So try and recoup some of its debts.
Yes.
Which would be terrible for the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah. Because it would be very cheap because no one would have trust in it and bring the price down.
Well, no, the price would probably actually level out. But it would be bad for new people coming in because it's probably going to be just as bad. It's still run by the same people. They haven't. It's not like they've got a lot of time to rewrite this.
Well, they have money to invest in rewriting
new people or new code base. So I can't imagine it would end up being very different the fourth time round.
But also, it's going to have an effect on the other exchanges. But if they come back on the market, consumer confidence is going to be lost. So therefore, the price of Bitcoin is going to be lower.
Because even if the price of Bitcoin is $100 lower on Mt. Gox, that does bring the price down on every other exchange, essentially. Even though people know that they're saving money because they're taking on some risk by buying from Mt. Gox.
And Mt. Gox was always the highest price, wasn't it? It was always seen as like...
It was overinflated.
Yeah.
So what can people do if they actually bought Bitcoin through the Mt. Gox exchange? Well, we'll find out. We'll call it. There is a helpline.
There is.
There is a helpline. And
we'll call it.
We'll call it. We'll see what happens. It's only open office hours in Japan. The number is +81, the code for Japan, 3, which is potentially the code for Tokyo, 4588 3921. And this is what happens when you call currently. Right, yeah. Well, it's not exactly the 10 Bitcoin I was hoping for, but anyway.
Probably cost you more than that.
That's it, yeah. The engaged tone from Japan, that's another $50 down the drain.
But hang on. Have you checked what the time is in Japan?
This isn't not a fair test. The time in Japan now will be 1 a.m, I think. Huh?
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
It'll be 1 a.m. around 1 or 2 a.m.
What was the opening time?
No, the opening times are 9 till 5. They're office hours. The opening times for this line are office hours in Japan.
But it should still ring.
So the fact that it's engaged implies that it doesn't even ring out. That people demand is high just to hear the bloody ringtone, just to hear something ringing,
just to know someone's home,
just to know you've woken Mark up. So there's not an awful lot people can do. So what was the other thing you wanted to talk about?
The idea that people have done what is going to be called like blockchain forensics.
All right.
That they've kind of followed the money, so to speak, or followed the Bitcoin that have come from confirmed Mt. Gox accounts at one point or another, and then followed them Bitcoin transactions around to see if the amount that they say in this crisis report, which is confirmed to have come from an outside agency, requested from Mt. Gox to be done on their behalf with real figures in terms of how much cash they had in the bank and how much Bitcoin they had. Now, Mt. Gox said they had 20,000 Bitcoins or 2,000 Bitcoins. However, blockchain forensics has shown that they think that it's more like there's 500,000 or 590,000 that are owned by previously confirmed Mt. Gox addresses.
Right.
So there seems to be more to the story still at the moment than it's been given up. So
it's unclear how many Bitcoins have gone missing.
Well, no, we know that there's a total of 770 something thousand bitcoins have gone missing, and like, you know, it sounds like a big number, but when you think of it in terms of Bitcoin, there's actually only 21 million ever. So you're looking at a very big portion. I don't know what's that, like 5-6% of total bitcoins ever, and most of them haven't gone missing. Like Mt. Gox is saying that they've been stolen, which means somebody has them.
Of course.
Did you hear the conspiracy though that that they might have lost the keys?
They could have lost the key. They could have literally lost them. Yeah. Like put it on a paper wallet and burned it. Or they could have had it on a laptop.
It's like the guy in Wales who...
oh my God.
$40,000 from that guy,
in the landfill site.
So they could have lost them.
Lost the keys, and therefore, you know, they can't access.
That's it. Unless somebody randomly generates that wallet and they make a new...
Feel a bit sick.
That is actually a plausible...
Good.
There's also another theory that the US government has had a gag order on them for what could be months. And so there's a whole nother thing that could be going on there.
Conspiracy theories are rife.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a long time before we know, if we ever know, exactly what has gone on.
Yeah.
Wow.
On that bombshell, let's talk about a positive story in crypto. It's Auroracoin. And Auroracoin is really interesting. There's...
a roaring success.
A roaring success. Exactly. And it's a coin created in response to the meltdown of the Icelandic economy. And there are 10 million potentially in existence.
No, there's 21 million, just like Bitcoin.
21 million, just like Bitcoin. Half of them are pre-mined.
50% pre-mined, yeah.
So 50% pre-mined means that 50% came into existence at the inception of Auroracoin.
Yeah.
No need to mine them. They came into existence, and they will be handed over to every single citizen of Iceland. They'll be divided between the citizens of Iceland.
Well, there's 3 different stages. What they're calling the Auroracoin airdrop,
which is in less than 20 days.
It's in 20 days.
Yeah.
That not all of the coins are going to be... there's 10.5 million coins at the moment, 50% to be given out to the population of Iceland. So there's 3 different stages. The first stage is where each person will be able to claim. So obviously they can't just... It's digital. You can't just drive around and drop it off.
Of course. Actually, yeah.
So each person will be able to claim 31.8 Auroracoin. Now,
wow.
if after 4 months people haven't claimed some of these Auroracoin, it goes into stage 2, where the remaining amount gets divvied up again, and once again each person is able to claim a portion of that, whatever that remaining amount
18.18 Auroracoin in stage
2.
Wow.
And then the same thing happens again in stage 3. So it's likely that rather than each person having their set amount, it'll end up with a skewed...
skewed to early adopters who know about cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's quite a land grab. That's pretty big. And you can see the prices. So Auroracoin, this is coinmarketcap.com. And Auroracoin here is currently running at $85. So how many will people get?
31.8 the chance to get.
Wow. So some crude maths tells me that's about $2,400.
$2,500.
It's about $2,500 basically. Which, yeah, I mean, and who knows where it'll go. The price has been fluctuating. We bought some last night, bought some yesterday for... How much was it at yesterday?
It's like $60 the end of yesterday.
It's $60 the end of yesterday.
And you got it at 30 or something.
It almost reached $100 today.
I grabbed a couple days ago.
Yeah. So it's on the up. It's an interesting one for anyone investing in new coins. And it just replaced Litecoin as the third biggest coin in terms of market capital.
I mean, the thing to note about that is the fact that there's only although it says the total supply is 10.6 million, only 100,000 of them have been mined by users since the creation of the coin. So it's slightly skewed, and a lot of this price is coming from pure speculation on what might happen with this price drop, or how effective that will be and what it will do.
Well, I mean, it's bound to. I mean, probably nearer the time, it's probably bound to hit like mainstream media. I mean, this is something like the BBC could quite easily pick up on this. There's likely to be, I think the media now is aware of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, especially Dogecoin and Kanye coin. When that hit late last year, and now this is happening, which is a positive thing for Iceland. Really,
it is. It's a chance for them to use this system, which has very minimal, if not no transaction fees, as a means of exchange of wealth, possibly for goods or services, like digitally, where the other options are bank transfers or systems like PayPal, which can be far slower or far more expensive. So it is a big opportunity. The risk is that a few early adopters will decide to take their money and run, so to speak. They'll take their Auroracoin when it drops, and they will cash out for their Bitcoin, and it'll just crumble.
Totally. And the price will drop, and then we'll be, we'll all switch to a different coin.
Exactly.
Hopefully, and bail out at the right time.
I rather like Auroracoin's website. Actually, I think it's really nice. So there you can see this was Tuesday. It's Tuesday night at 6 o'clock UK time at the moment, so the countdown's in full flow. It's almost at 20 days now, and they've done a good job of putting together exactly what it is. Anybody know how you pronounce that? Theo. But anyway, that's the.
Really? I'm pretty sure you're murdering Icelandic words.
Theo. Yeah. It's basically
we'll cut that out.
That's Auroracoin.
I'm just hoping that when I go to Iceland in April, I can buy some beers for my Auroracoin.
Yes. Are you going to Iceland?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Whereabouts?
Reykjavik.
Amazing. What are the movers and shakers?
Movers and shakers.
Yeah.
So,
Auroracoin.
Auroracoin. We covered that. That's a big mover.
Been rocking it. So we've seen a steady decline in the likes of Dogecoin.
I know. I don't know. Did you invest in Dogecoin? I did. I was a Dogecoin millionaire for some time, and it went up. I made quite a bit of money, and then I lost most of it again.
Sad Doges everywhere.
I know.
Wow.
Very sad.
Many fluctuation, much risk. Wow. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing to look out for is the Ethereum project.
Okay.
The mineable coin from that would be called Ether, much like a few of the other new crypto coins that are being built on top of the Bitcoin system. So Ethereum is just like Mastercoin or Next or Ripple's, in the sense that it's built on top of Bitcoin's blockchain. And the big thing with Ethereum, it doesn't differ too much from Next in the fact that they're trying to build a protocol layer on top of the blockchain, which allows people to more easily build applications that can leverage off the success of the blockchain. So things like smart contracts, they can use the computing power that adds security or any of the other advantages it adds. They can use this system. Developers will be able to easily use this protocol, and users will be able to one-click install different types of applications. So rather than, at the moment, to get a new crypto application, you end up on some random website and you download the client for your computer and you hope it works. What this is trying to solve is, if you want a messaging system that works off the back of the blockchain, you can just open your Ethereum project and double-click your messaging app. Or if you want a new decentralized Dropbox system, you can just open it up, search, double-click, install that. If you want a wallet for it, like a coin, you can double-click that.
So it's like a Chrome store?
In a sense, that's a good way to look at it. And so that also has its own mineable coin to come along with it.
Cool.
There's no set release date for when it's going to be able to start mining, but there is a pre-sale sometime soon, so keep your eyes out
for the Ethereum project.
Ethereum project and the Ether pre-sale, which is incoming.
Wow, mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. And on the subject of mind-blowing, where if I had one computer with one graphics card, where should I be pointing my miner this week? Is it worth mining Bitcoin anymore? Just for anyone who's curious about that.
Not on a standalone little PC computer you've got at home. It'll cost far more in electricity than you will earn in dollars.
Right. I mean, months ago it wasn't, even before Christmas.
Yeah.
Like even probably
barely a year ago.
Yeah, June, July last year.
Right. ASIC miners came into existence about a year ago this time.
And what about slightly less established coins, Peercoin, Dogecoin, Feathercoin, Litecoin, anything like that?
Like you're pretty okay if you want a CPU mine, like a CPU coin only. You can make you will be making money based off the amount of electricity it costs you to mine it. For like Primecoin, for example, it's been pretty steady at like 0.0035 of Bitcoin for 6 months now. So it's fluctuated actually a lot since then. But you're looking, it's been reasonably stable if you just want a CPU only coin to mine. If you've got just one PC, obviously you're not a big miner. Your best bet is to gamble on something, and maybe Auroracoin's not a bad bet, although it's just increased like 30 times in the last week or so. So
Well, in terms of difficulty,
in terms of price,
right? Yeah.
Okay. So if you're thinking it might do the same again, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's at the lower end where you get the bigger proportional fluctuations. I mean, I bought Mooncoin at about 11 satoshis each, and now I can barely sell them for 2 satoshis each, which is a 5 times, fluctuation in quite a short amount of time. So is it about trying to mine coins earlier that have a really tiny value, like a handful of satoshis, because you can't really go far wrong there in theory, right?
You're just taking a risk on it, aren't you? Everything's a risk.
Yeah,
I mean, no one ever knew that. I mean, this time last week, Auroracoin, there wasn't a lot of interest in it, but you're really kind of hedging your bets on coins that are going to gain popularity within the underground community.
I thought with Mooncoin, at 10 satoshis each, you couldn't go any lower.
Yeah,
I was wrong. Plowed.
Yeah, I made that mistake a few times when I saw things that were 1 or 2 satoshis, and I was like, well, how low can it go?
Yeah. Totally.
But what you got to realise is actually when things go as low as 1 or 2 satoshis, they end up exchanges open a new trading pair, which is whatever the coin is versus Litecoin as opposed to Bitcoin. So it can go lower than 1 satoshi. It just ends up being traded for Litecoin as opposed to Bitcoin.
Right, well, I'll see you down the Litecoin, Mooncoin exchange. Begging for...
coin converters.
Yeah, begging for 1 satoshi from a 5 billion bloody Mooncoin. I don't have 5 billion Mooncoin, but anyway. I've got 1 million. Okay, so that was movers and shakers. Any other news from the world of cryptocurrencies, Ash? What news have you got?
Ireland's first Bitcoin ATM.
Ah, brilliant.
Is launching in Dublin.
They beat us to it
soon.
Just in time for St. Paddy's Day.
I think it's launching in the Temple Bar in Dublin.
Brilliant.
So get your cash out.
Are there any Bitcoin ATMs in the UK yet?
No. And the only equivalent was the Bitcoin shop.
Yeah, Aztec. Is that how you pronounce it?
Sorry.
Here in Shoreditch.
Which actually closed on Friday. It was only a short-term thing. It's coming back, as far as you understand it.
Supply and demand.
Bigger and better. But yeah, it was only here. That was our only equivalent of Bitcoin ATM. And in terms of the Bitcoin ATMs that are coming to the UK, they've been like rumours, but I don't know where they are yet.
We'll be getting the founder of Aztec on the show soon, so stay posted for that. There's a huge cryptocurrency convention in New York in April, actually on the 9th of April. It's the cryptocurrencyconvention.com.
Good URL.
You know what? I'm really sorry. We can't
call him out.
There's loads more information here.
What you mean? We think we've underserved your ATM story. Tell me more about the Irish ATM. Let's have more. It's fine.
But the problem was I was just trying to read it at the same time as talking, and I can't read and talk. However, there's one being placed in the Hippity Cafe, Wine Bar and Gallery and Founds Street. Is that you?
Yeah. Founds Street.
By a company called Bitvendo.
Right.
Bitvendo.
So they're the company that are going to be putting the ATMs in Dublin.
Right.
But they're also coming to the UK. Yeah. Whereabouts in the UK, I have no idea at the moment.
Yeah, no, there was an interview on American TV with Warren Buffett, the famous sort of superstar of the investment world. I think he's in his mid-80s now. And he did comment on Bitcoin. He said that it's not a currency and he wouldn't be surprised if it's not around in 10 years.
Really?
Thoughts?
Yeah. I struggle to sometimes acknowledge what some of these people say because they seem to be from different worlds than some of the people that are trying to build this new digital economy.
I think if you've made your money on, for 60 years around the standard economy, he made his first successful investment during World War II. And he's been on board with the existing economy for a long time. So for someone to tell him that, this is
new thing. There's a new way to do things.
He's going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm too old to get my head around that. Yeah. And I guess fair enough,
Well, if you've got this system that obviously works really, really well for him, why would you listen to anybody else that says?
Why would he be interested in Bitcoin?
If tells him your system's wrong, it's like, well, mate, look at my bank account. It's not.
It's like telling your dad he's getting dressed the wrong way around in the morning.
It's like trying to get your dad in a one piece.
Yeah.
Anywho, and some other big news this week. The Bitcoin Foundation moving to London. We're not quite sure where yet, but we'll definitely get in there and interview someone there when we find out. We hunt them down.
No questions. We are in there. Whether they want us to be in there or not.
We're there. We're going to be knocking on their door. Other UK news is that the UK government has said that there won't be VAT on Bitcoin transactions, which is nice.
Very important.
Important, but they probably also realise that it would be an administrational nightmare to try and enforce.
Well, it's been that way so far. That's what stifled the the Bitcoin innovation in the UK in terms of there's no big startups that want to start here.
Yeah.
Because they have this hurdle to deal with that if you want to try and sell Bitcoins to people, or if you want to allow the sale or exchange of Bitcoins, you're going to have this VAT hurdle on top of you that's 20% more than the rest of the world.
Yeah. But generally, the British government is very accommodating to startups, as opposed to other countries. Like in Russia or France, if you wanted to set up a company, you have huge hurdles, massive financial hurdles to jump over. It's not easy to set up a business in those countries. So for it's a good thing
for startups in general.
It's great, but in general, it's a lot easier to set up business over here. Yeah, VAT, pain in the ass, but it's a positive thing.
So maybe Bitstamp will be able to move their bank account to the UK now.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That'd be great. So that's all we've got time for on This Week in Crypto. Join us next week for more.
Buy, trade, donate. See you next week. This is Will Francis, this is Sam Bellingham, and I'm me. Bye.